What's up, Descendants? Bob here. Today I have a list of the must-have Descendants that everybody needs to have in their roster. And this list is gonna be based on utility. It's not gonna be based on who's the best Descendant for mobbing, who's the best Descendant for void intercepts. That's not gonna be the topic of this video. That's a topic for a different video. The topic of this video is gonna be utility. And what I mean by utility is Descendants that you want for making your grind easier. Farming for Kuiper, farming for gold, farming the outpost for the amorphous patterns, farming for the void fragments, for the void shards, farming for so on. Because you're gonna want to do all these farming because you want to get Descendant materials, you want to get patterns for your blueprints for your weapons, you want to get and get materials like the mushrooms or the catalysts. There's a lot of things that you want to get, so this list is gonna be for that. Descendants that everybody needs to make their farming easier. So let's get started. Alright everyone, for our first Descendant we have Enzo. Enzo is one of the best Descendants for acquiring Kuiper, because Enzo, he can open vaults. Vaults, if you haven't seen them, they're these statues or coffins that you find throughout the maps. You can find them literally everywhere. And these coffins are extremely important because they're gonna give us a lot of Kuiper. We have a bunch of these materials, the ultra precision code breakers. We have the code breakers in the where's the other ones? Precision code breakers. These are gonna be used to open the coffins that you're gonna be finding throughout the maps. And with the precision code breakers, you can get 20,000 Kuiper just by opening it. And with the ultra precision code breakers, you can get 80,000 Kuiper. So if you decide to farm for Kuiper or for materials for your mushrooms or your catalysts, Enzo is gonna be hands down the best way to get them. He's also very good to getting materials for farming for Descendants. Descendants like Glay require some of these materials. So Descendants like Glay require this vaults for you to open them. You can get them other ways, but the best way to get these materials faster, there's no better way than the vaults with Enzo. So those are two reasons why you want to farm for Enzo. And another one is because this guy, he has abilities that they're gonna give munition to his teammates. He's gonna be dropping heavy ammo, so he's gonna be increasing everybody's DPS for void intercepts, making the fights way quicker. Enzo is probably one of the best support Descendants in the game for void intercepts, if not the best. And for farming Kuiper, there's no better Descendant than Enzo, and that's why he's on the list. For our next Descendant we have Blair. And Blair is gonna be very important, but not for mobbing, or he's not gonna be very important for bossing. Blair is gonna be very important because we're gonna be finding a lot of these void fragments, and some of these require the fire element, as you can see with this one. And Blair is the easiest fire Descendant to acquire. I have a guide on acquiring him and pretty much every Descendant on this list, and it should take you, well, it depends on luck, but it should take you 5 hours to unlock Blair. And I think that he's totally worth it, because when you're farming, for example, for the amorphous pattern for this fusion reactor, you have everything that you need right here. You have the outpost, you're gonna get the amorphous pattern, then you just go to this void fragment, you get the materials, and then you go over here to the fusion reactor and you collect the loot. So he makes everything easier just by having a fire Descendant. He just makes our lives easier just by existing, basically. That's the only reason why I'm putting Blair on this list, because he's gonna make our farming way quicker. There's different spots. This is not the only one that he's gonna make our life easier. This one, for example, as well. We can be farming this outpost, and we switch to Blair, we do this fire void fragment, and then we go over here and we do this fusion reactor. So there's gonna be a lot of situations where Blair and other Descendants are gonna make our lives easier, and that's the main reason why Blair is on the list. For our next Descendant we have Viessa. for the same reason that I have Blair on this list, Viessa is gonna allow us to farm for void fragments that are exclusive to chill damage. On this example, we can farm this outpost right here, then we can switch to Viessa, we can do this chill void fragment, and then we can switch to our main character after we acquire the amorphous pattern and all the void shards, and we can do this fusion reactor. So it makes our rotation way easier just by having a chill Descendant. And Viessa is also extremely good for crowd control, and she has a lot of mobility. She's very fun to use. She's very useful for infiltration operations. She's very useful for special operations. Overall, she's just a great Descendant, and in the endgame you can also build and make her extremely strong. There's a video that Nightmare Frame uploaded for a build for Viessa that I highly recommend. And overall, she's just a great Descendant that everybody needs on their roster, and that's why she's on the list. Okay, for our next Descendant we have Freyna. For the same reasons that we want Viessa and Blair, we want to have Freyna because she's gonna make our lives super easy when we're farming fusion reactors. As an example, we can farm the materials for this one right here. We farm for the amorphous pattern, then we switch to Freyna, we do the void fragment, we acquire the materials, then we do the fusion reactor. Everything is right here. Just by having her, we're gonna exponentially make our farming extremely quicker. And she's also very good for void intercept, she's very good for mobbing. Overall, she's just one of the... I'm not gonna say best Descendants because I'm gonna save that for a different topic. But she's very good for bossing and mobbing. I highly recommend having Freyna on your roster for utility and just as an overall great Descendant. Okay, Descendants. Our next Descendant is Sharon. And Sharon is our best Descendant for acquiring amorphous patterns. And the reason is because there are some amorphous patterns that are locked specifically for Sharon, and these are gonna be one of the best amorphous patterns. As you guys can see on the screen, it says additional rewards for successful infiltration, and it exclusively gives us amorphous pattern 119, and this one's gonna be used actually for crafting clay. And Sharon is the only one that can get these amorphous patterns 119. She's gonna do a stealth infiltration, she's gonna disable the reactors that are on the outpost, and then afterwards she's gonna kill the boss. So for acquiring these amorphous material patterns, every single person needs to have a Sharon on their roster for that reason. She's also a very fun Descendant to use. She has a very good mobbing skills. She's also very easy to build for this specific reason that we want her for the outposts. As you guys can see, I literally only have 4 mods slotted on her and my mirror maneuvering, so very easy to build. This is just literally I'm increasing her defense, her skill extension, and her HP. That's it. That's all I'm doing because I'm just farming outposts. It's not the most difficult content in the game. You don't need to do anything crazy to build for her, and she's just gonna make our lives way easier in general. Okay, everyone, for our last Descendant we have Bunny. And I know a lot of people hate Bunny. She's like seen like the scrub Descendant, and she's just always running around mindlessly killing enemies. But let's be honest, there's no better Descendant for mobbing than Bunny. She's the fastest one. Well, Asimo runs faster, but she's the best Descendant for mobbing. She just kills everything just by running, literally. She makes battlefield missions extremely quick. She makes your farming for Kuiper or gold way faster. She's just overall a great Descendant that everybody needs to have. And you're gonna need her because at some point you're gonna need to farm for Kuiper and gold, which you're gonna need to for leveling up your modifiers. You're gonna need for crafting Descendants. You're gonna need for crafting ultimate weapons. You're gonna need for the materials to change the affixes of your weapons. you're gonna need gold for everything, and Kuiper for the mods is extremely important to become stronger in the game. So Bunny is, she's also a must-have Descendant, even if everybody hates her. This Descendant needs to be on everybody's roster, and she's extremely easy to get. She's the first Descendant that you can acquire basically on the game. They basically put her so that you don't miss her. On the very first map on Kingston, just by playing through the campaign, they basically gave you 3 out of 4 components just by playing. So there's no reason why you shouldn't have Bunny on your list. Even if you hate her, you need to have her on your roster. And that covers pretty much everything Descendants. Like I said, this list is based on utility. It's not based on mobbing, it's not based on bossing. This is just based on making your life easier for farming for materials in the first Descendant. And if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below. Try to keep it respectful, please. And yeah, that's about it. If you want to see more videos for the first Descendant, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.